Alright, in this video I want to go over the main things you want to focus on when you are trying to lean out, build muscle, or just any fitness goal, really. It's all the same stuff, to be honest, but we're going to go over that today. Alright, the first thing that we want to think about, and I want you to keep this in the back of your mind when you're following whatever plan you're following, is consistency. Consistency over time is what provides a result. Remember that. It doesn't matter what plan you are following. So what I do is I make sure that I train people off of their lifestyle. So I find what works best for them. If that's either tracking calories, following a meal plan, focusing on behaviors and habits, whatever it may be, the one thing that they all have in common that did get the result that they wanted was consistency. It doesn't matter what plan you're on, you just need to be consistent. Consistency over time when it comes to weight loss or building muscle. If you're not consistent, you're not gonna get anywhere. All right, so consistency is the main thing that we wanna focus on when we're going through this list, all right? The next thing you wanna focus on is eat mindfully. Think about what you're eating. Think about how you're feeling when you're eating that. Because for example, when you're eating something like this, it's processed, right? I'm not saying all processed food is bad, but eating something like this, it's easy to eat. You're not gonna feel full, you're not gonna feel satiated. It's good, it's yummy, but I know this is not gonna make me full. Versus something like protein and vegetables and a good source of carbohydrates and some healthy fats, that's gonna make me feel very full and satiated. Try eating 700 calories of just straight chicken, some potatoes, some vegetables, and some almonds. It's a very hard thing to do. People that has bulk and try to do it the right way knows it's hard. So again, eat mindfully. Next thing you want to focus on is maintaining some type of regular exercise. It could be literally anything, but you want to make sure that it's specific towards your goal. So if it's weight loss, if it's building muscle, you got to do some type of resistance training. Obviously, do what you love, do what you got to do to stay consistent, but make sure that that regular exercise is specific towards your goal. Another thing you want to focus on, food quality. Got my chicken here, broccoli, white rice. One thing you want to focus on, make sure that majority of your calories are foods that come from this. The reason why, again, you feel fuller, you feel good, your food digests a lot better. And another thing, for a weight loss perspective, you burn more calories, right? So there's something called TEF, thermic effect of food. With higher quality foods, it's harder for your body to actually process those foods. So you actually burn more calories than you would with processed foods. With weight loss, you want to use every lever you could use, right? So just switching from a higher quality, nutrient dense diet, you could actually burn more calories throughout the day. So keep that in mind. All right, food quantity. You want to make sure the amount of food that you're having is tailored towards your specific goal. So if you're trying to gain size, you're trying to gain muscle, you want to be in a surplus. If you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to get lean, you're trying to get shredded, you want to be in a calorie deficit. If you just want to maintain where you're at, put your calories in maintenance. So food quantity, very important when it comes to your fitness goals. Macronutrient ratio. You want to make sure that you are focused on that as well. You want to think about what your specific goal is. If your goal is weight loss and you're trying to build muscle, calories and protein going to be your most important. So you want to figure those two things out. And then your carbs and your fat is going to be based off of preference. Whatever you want to go with, whatever makes you feel better. But those are two sources of energy. I personally really like having carbohydrates around my workout so that way we could utilize them. But yeah, macronutrient, very important. You want to think about those as well. The thing you want to think about, sleep quality. Very, very, very important, just due to the fact of how, sleep affects everything from how you treat food, how you think of food, how focused you are during the day, how you recover through your workouts. Sleep, so important. I use my Apple Watch as a tool to see how my sleep went. Obviously it's not perfect, but it gives me like a rough idea. There are other brands out there as well, like Whoop Band. I know there's an Oura Ring. It's just a rough estimate. It's not perfect, but it gives you an idea. But I wouldn't be too adopted to stressing too much about what the watch says. Obviously go off of how you feel during the day. I aim for about 6 to 8 hours. I try to get 7 hours consistently, but again, it's not always about how long you sleep. It's about the quality of sleep you get. So think about that. Another tip, one more tip. If you're struggling with sleep and you're not getting enough sleep, the best tip that I can give you is go to bed early. Go to bed earlier. Go to bed earlier. That's what you need to focus on. All right. Next up is gonna be de-stressing. Like, find a way to focus on stress management. There's so many stressful things around us, from work, from our phones, from TV, from what's going on around us, around this world. It gets stressful. We're like stimulated by all this stress. So finding a way to de-stress during the day is going to be super important, because again, you want to make sure that you're recovering properly from your training, from your workouts, things like that, so that way you can maintain a healthy mindset, a healthy body. So that way you get to your result, man. Like, stress is stress to the body. Find a way to de-stress, if that's reading a book, taking a walk, chilling with whomever or whatever. So I meant, like, de-stress, man. It's important. Don't underestimate focusing on stress management. It's an important key. So another thing you want to think about is your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is going to be you doing any type of involuntary movement. So like you fidgeting, you walking around, moving place to place, not focus on exercise. So this is a big part of your TDEE, your total daily expenditure. So if for a weight loss perspective, for a fat loss perspective, focusing on NEAT is super important. Environment, very hard subject to talk about with people, because that is the one thing that holds a lot of people back, is their environment. Once you fix your environment, from physical and social environment, you can really shape your path to success, because a lot of times our environment is what controls our daily decisions and we don't even know it. So a thing that you can do is align your environment to where things feel automatic. The actions you take, it's more aligned with who you want to be. So think about your physical environment. So you spend most of your time at home or in your office, right? Think about the foods that are around you. Do they trigger you to binge? Are you eating more than you should? Are you mindlessly eating, right? So you got to think about that. But also your social environment. Your social environment is huge, because a lot of times when we're trying to change, when we're trying to grow as a person, a lot of times our social environment kind of brings us back to our old habits and our old ways. But here we're trying to grow, right? We're trying to be better. So you got to think about that physical aspect, but also the social aspect. You know, you want to create an environment where it's definitely aligned with who you want to become. So environment, very important. All right, we got to think about your limiting factors. These are things that are holding you back from taking the action you need to take to get to your desired result. This is important because we're not self-aware of these things. So once we start to build awareness and we're mindful of those things that are holding us back, we can make adjustments. We could take the necessary steps to take away those limiting factors so we can get to our result. All right, you're probably thinking to yourself, that is a lot, which it's true, it could be a lot, because we did go over a lot of things. But here is the beauty of it. If you're not focused on anything, you're not doing anything, and you're just living life, and you're doing your thing, and you're just trying to get into this whole fitness thing, you just focus on one thing at a time. Knock it down the list. You know, focus on your environment first. Focus on your nutrition first. Focus on your workout first. Whatever you could focus on right now to build that momentum to get you started, do that. You don't have to do everything all at once. At the end of the day, it's all about being consistent, right? So we want to be consistent. So get those small wins, get consistent, and then you'll get to your desired results. So those are my main things that you want to focus on when you decide to get started on your whole fitness thing. All right, peace.